Welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys all have happy full bellies and are ready for our afternoon programming. My name is Tatiana Sokolova, and I'm the other co-chair of today's energy conference. And as you can probably gauge from my name, I am indeed Russian. But more specifically, I'm from the Siberian city of Novokuznetsk, which is a major metallurgical center that exceeded the maximum permissible concentrations for particulate matter throughout the decade I was born in. This meant that our city experienced a lung cancer rate that was triple that of other former Soviet cities, and we experienced a host of other health complications. Early on in my life, I too experienced a lot of severe complications due to pollution in my city. And I will be forever grateful for my mother, who left everything she knew behind to give me a better chance of life here in the United States. Yet even in this land of opportunity, where I lived in a peninsula in rural Maryland, I could smell the fresh sea breeze every day compared to the smog that I experienced early on in life. Even here, I learned that I'm not safe from fossil fuel consumption's long-lasting effects. And so that's why I'm here with you all today, here at Duke, trying to be part of the solution. But that's just my story. I'm sure many of you all are here because you too have experienced the effects of industrialization. And for those of you that have been fortunate enough not to experience that, I'm sure you guys are here because you care about the environment and want it to exist for future generations. Climate change at a high level is about almost unimaginable human suffering, and therefore it is a global public health problem. This problem must be met with urgent system-wide transformation to change the trajectory we're still currently on and stop the current threat to humanity's basic right to life. All right, so what are we going to do about it? Can we switch to Slido, please? All right, some of you guys have bright ideas to what we're going to do about it. Keep adding them. We want more of your guys' topics, but you all are correct. It's going to take a host of solutions to be able to stop the climate crisis. So this morning, we heard about how we are making the energy transition technically feasible and policy-backed, but it must be financially feasible as well. In their net zero emissions by 2050 scenario, the International Energy Agency estimated that about 70% of clean energy investments over the next decade will need to be carried out by private developers, consumers, and financiers. So what this means is that a majority of clean energy investment will need to be coming from the private sector, which we'll be hearing more about today in our first panel of the afternoon. Additionally, we heard about the fossil fuel substitution by various renewable energy sources and low-carbon nuclear. But we must also invest in energy savings on the demand side. In September 6th of just this year, the California Independent System Operator, also known as CAISO, was able to avoid blackouts similar to those experienced in February of 2021 in Texas, due to sending out a mass text to constituents asking them to reduce their energy consumption immediately. And while this fast action resulted in the avoidance of a disaster, an emergency response cannot be our new normal. Our energy transition strategy must involve building a resilient grid. So today's demand-side innovations panel will focus on some of the components necessary to grid resilience, namely large-scale community solar and advanced energy storage to absorb variable renewables, as well as demand response programs and electric vehicle charging solutions that do not rely on the grid. These are only some aspects of what it will take to reach a fully decarbonized power system. So to give a more macro level of understanding of all that will take to drive forward a just and equitable energy transition, we have Audrey Zibelman here with us today in our afternoon keynote to share insights from her illustrious career working both across private and public sectors. We're also excited to hear her understanding of decarbonization at a global level, outside of the US perspective that we're kind of focused on here today at Duke. And possibly most importantly, we'll learn about the moonshot opportunities on the horizon that will be shaping the future of our climate and energy. And while these are all inspiring goals, all of us just dream to be a part of, the majority of the audience here today are students just trying to figure out what's the next step in their careers. So to round out the afternoon, we have Duke alumnus Tim Singer, who's going to share a bit more about his career journey and the impact he's having today on the energy transition.